early years, I always felt that I was a perfect medium for other people's creativity, but that I didn't want to create, I couldn't create, and there was this whole defense thing. And worked fabulously with my mother, because she would do a gesture and I would take it through, I would know how to do it. And so for my first initial years, became a Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi dancer, also working in Amma's own choreographic works. It was wonderful dancing with her. Had my first astral experience, because the first time she and I danced on stage together, I had this very strong spiritual experience of like being on the top of the theater, watching these two bodies and knowing they were actually one. And it's something that still to me is a very real experience. And I had gone in as an activist and a dancer, and I came out convinced that my USP was that I had to use the arts to talk about the activism, because there was nothing stronger as a language. So in 1980, I felt that rather than this kind of sporadic work be done, if there were 4 or 5 senior artists in the company who felt strongly about using the arts for change, that it would make much more sense if we actually started a department, and that department became Darpana for Development, where people could synergize on ideas, so that you didn't have to devise something within one art form. To think of devising innovative and different ways of dealing with issues for different target audiences, and that's how Darpana for Development was born. There is an interesting group, a community called the Charas, and they were, for some reason, politically called criminalized tribes during the British in the 1850s. And when India gained its independence, they became the decriminalized or the denotified criminal tribe. But it's a community which always gets blamed by the police if there is looting or arson or thieving. And it's a community that's been extremely badly treated, at the receiving end of brutality and corruption from the police and so on. So we decided to work with their children to try and see if, in some senses, giving them theatrical devices could bring out their own angst and their grief, and if we could manage to create a format that then they could take forward to become the voice of their own people, to talk about their own concerns.
वो अपनी लड़कियों की शादी जल्दी करवा देते हैं, छोटी उम्र में शादी करवा देते हैं, जैसे कि 14 साल 15 साल में ही शादी करवा देते हैं, और उसका सारा जीवन तबाह हो जाता है। और ये बात हमारे नाटक में हम देखते हैं, अपने आंखों से देखते हैं कि वो लोग क्या कर रहे हैं। उसमें है कि लड़की की या लड़के की छोटी उम्र में शादी ना करें। लड़के घरे खराब होते हैं चावल आएगा कि मेरी बात तो सुन, हाय मुझको गंदी वाली ना कहने की।
हमने सबसे पहले प्ले बुधन किया था, वो यहाँ तो बहुत पॉपुलर हुआ था। उसके बाद दीदी मल्लिका दीदी ने हमें इनवाइट किया दर्पण में करने के लिए, हमने परफॉर्म किया, उन्हें बहुत पसंद आया था। और वो ऊपर स्टेज के ऊपर खड़ी थी। जब प्ले ख़त्म हुआ तो वो भाग के मेरे पास आई और मुझे गले लगा दिया और रोने लगी। बहुत ही मेरी एक्टिंग पसंद आई थी। उसके बाद उन्होंने अनाउंसमेंट किया था कि आज से छारा नगर के लिए दर्पण के दरवाजे हमेशा के लिए खुले।
I don't think Indianness is something that you keep by being closed. The greatest ingredient of being Indian is to be open to the winds.